So hello students, I guess you are good and fine at your place. Yes. So students, let's start today's class. Okay. So students, you have to identify the common name for all the figures which is in front of your screen. So we have circle, triangle, square, rectangle and pentagon. So what do you think? At which property do you consider these all figures? Yes. Yes. You write it down your answer in the comment box. I will check out from there only. Okay. So very good. As you said, these are called polygon. Very good students. So these are called polygons, where we have a circle, triangle, squares and rectangle, pentagon, as they are all are closed figures that they are called in comes under the polygons. Okay students. Now students, this is an activity. So activities in front of you, you have given two. First we have identified that these are the polygons which are circle, triangle, square, rectangle, pentagon. So on that picture there is a below few more shapes are there students. So do you find some shapes are made up of these all polygons? Yes. Where do you find it out? If each of the faces, if we talk about for the first one, yes students, for the first one, what is the shape for this? This is a triangle, right? All the shapes are with the triangles. Then we can say this is made up of all the squares, right? This is again we can say the triangles. Again we have here triangles, and this is a pentagon. You can see this is a pentagon which has 5 sides, right? So this is a pentagon. It is in the shape of a, let me draw it again for you. So here and these shapes are there. Okay. So students, in which category do you find it out these all polygons which are made up of different shapes and added different one? So do you think all the shapes at the bottom are made up of polygons, with combination of polygons, right? Where we can find it out similar one. Polygons are every in the each figure at the bottom one all are hidden, right? So basically we are discussing about a topic which is related with the polyhedrons. So this is our topic of discussion, that is polyhedrons. Okay, so we are going to discuss about its concept, and later on we are going to discuss about its type. Okay, so firstly let's see what is polyhedrons. So a solid is made up of a polygon regional which are having its faces. These faces meet at edges which are line segments, and the edges meet at the vertices which are points. Such solids are called polyhedron. So students, as you can see, this is a few examples of a polyhedron, that is tetrahedron, cube, octahedron, dodahedron. So all these examples of a polyhedron, right? So students, what we have to talk about here now, let's talk about this cube, Rubik cube, right? So here we can see this here in this. Let me mark a point. So students, you see that there we have a 1 point, and we can see these are the some edges, right? So you can see these are the few edges on it which are joined with one another. This edge is, so let me draw the one face of this cube. So this cube is there. Okay, this is a front cube, you can see it. So students, where do you find it out that edges and faces and vertices? So basically students, these are the edges, these are the vertices. We can say that we have 4 vertices, 1 2 3 4 at the corners, right? And these are the edges okay, the line segments, and these are the dotted are the vertices, right? And this is in the front of it, this is a face. So these are the polyhedron which have faces, edges and vertices, okay, and they are made up of these solids, so that we call polyhedrons, okay. Students, let's come forward. So students, you have to analyze this image. As I talk about, this is rubric cube, right? So you have to write it down about, is this cube, rubric cube, is it a polyhedron or not? Few of the points I've included before only, but you have to include more points. What do you say about this rubric cube? Yes, you just write it down your answer in the comment box. I will let you know from there only that your answer is correct, the points you have mentioned are correct or not, okay. So students, let me talk about this rubric cube. So as you can see, let me mark with the help of this color, okay. So we can see here, this is a vertices, this is also vertices, this is also vertices, and this is also vertices, right? So you have to draw a line, you can get the edges, okay, and this is the first face. This is for phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, okay. It has 8 faces, right? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it is 6 faces, and vertices you have to count for each corner, okay. Yes students, so that way this is a polyhedron example. Now students, you have to do it, this filling the blanks. Solids is made up of polygonal regions which are called its dash. Yes, solids is made up of polygonal regions which are also called that is, what do we call, is it a vertices, edges or faces? Write it down your answer in the comment box. Yes, very good students. So as you said, these are called faces, right? In every faces. Very good. So let's come forward. Now students, this is same rubric cube, you are also aware of it, and you also played at your home to matching the colors. If you want to get the same color on the side, you have to apply with the different practices to arrange. At the center is this green color, for orange color, for blue color, for yellow and white, okay. So you have to take the reference, that way you will easily play this to arranging the colors, right? But we can also have another thing related to it. So students, do you find it out that these rubric cube is made up of squares? Yes, in each faces, each small cube is there, and on the all small cubes we can say that a square is there, which is in the. So students, do you say that square is a 2D shape or a 3D shape? Tell me, is it cube in which we have see a square? What do you think? It is a, let me draw it. So is it a square or some another thing? Yes, yes, very good students. So these are the square only, right? And in, we can say in on each of the faces, that is 6 faces, we have all of the things are the squares, right? So what do we call such polygons which have regular things about it, right? So let's talk about it. So these are called regular polyhedrons. So these are the first type of polyhedron, which is a regular polyhedron. Right? So let's talk about a polyhedron is said to be regular if its faces are made up of regular polygons, and the number of faces meet at each vertices. So students, you will say that the each vertices, right, it has regular. So if I talk about this rubric cube, right, so this in this rubric cube you can see every cube there is a very small cube is there which is made up of in each, right? And for the each cube, you know that if we draw a small cube for you, so you can see that we have a square, right? You can see on the each faces we have a squares, and each faces are they are made up of regular. That means it is not a for the rectangle, or so whenever we can say that the regular polyhedrons, those are those which are regular, has its faces with regular polygons, which is a square, and here in the example the number of faces meet at each vertex. We can see that here we have vertices, right, 4 vertices and the 1 faces. So we can identify its faces and vertices with the help of it, and we can come to know that it is a regular polygon if any shape is made up of a solid with the polygons, but it has not the polygons similar in each faces, then you cannot say that that is a regular polygon. Okay, for the regular polyhedron you need that the faces of each regular polygons must be same, then you will conclude that that is polyhedrons. Okay, regular polyhedrons. Now students, let's see next. So is there one question arises, is the dice a regular polyhedron or not? So what do we take about it, students? What about the dice? A dice, you can see we have a numbers is related to it, right, on which we play with snake and ladder, right? So a ludo with this dice only we play it. So students, what do you think, is the dice is also made up of regular polyhedron or not, or it is another example of it is, or it is not a polyhedron? So write it down your answer in the comment box, there where I come to know your points. Yes students, very good. So as you said, this regular polygon hedron, that means the each face of its polyhedron is similar or same, right? So we can say that for a dice, whenever you consider it, it will have a same polygon on each face, then we can say that. So you can see here it also a square, here also a square, and the top also a square, bottom and the side left right all have a same square shape is there, right? So that way we can say that yes, dice is a regular polyhedron. Okay, now students, this is your task to do it straight, true or false. Write it down your answer after reading the statement properly. Okay, a polyhedron is said to be irregular if its faces are made up of regular polygon and this number of faces meet at each vertex. It is called regular polygon. So is it a correct statement or a false? So you have to write it down your answer in the comment box. Yes students, so I guess you have write it down your answer. A polyhedron is said to be, yes, very good. So it's going to be a false. Why? Because here there is a mistake, right? Here should be regular, not instead of irregular. Then you can say that it is a regular polygon, because every face of any polyhedron must be similar faces. It should be, if it is a square, then all should be square. If it is a rectangle, all should be rectangle. If it is a triangle, then all should be triangle. Okay, so that way we can come to know that that is a regular polyhedron. Okay, now students, next we have, you have to identify the name of the image. So the image is in front of you, you can see it. There is a, I will not tell you, you just write it down your answer. So yes, very good. So we can say that we have a prism, right? From there we have a light is coming out. This is act as a prism. A light is there. From there we get different lights. From there we get different lights, right? So that way this is a prism. So what do you think, student? This is a 2D shape or the 3D shape? Is it a 3-dimensional or 2-dimensional? Yes, students, very good. It is a, yes, it is a 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional. Yes, it is a 3-dimensional shape. Yes. So as you can see, this this phenomena you can see in your science textbooks, where you see that the white light, if it is passed from any reflecting surface, any prism, there is a reflection is coming out, reflected, the right light get reflected from one medium to another medium. So that's why it gives a white light gives 7 colors, beam of 7 colors. Yes, you have studied in your classes where you studied of a chapter related with light, right? So that way. Now students, you have to correlate these two images. The first is there and the second is also there, students. So students, where do you find it out, any comparison? Is it a 2D shape or a 3D shape? Yes, yes, very good. So it is a 3D shape. Okay, so how do you consider that this is a 3D shape, and how you come to know that this is a polyhedron? Yes, 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 because we can say that it is made up of triangle. Let me mark triangle. This is a triangle, right? And for the another one, we have a rectangle. Other face, if we look it out, right? So students, where do you see that these kinds of shapes? Like first we have triangle, right? Then we have a rectangle. So do you consider that these are the also example of a polyhedron? Yes. So if I talk about, is it a regular polyhedron or not? What's your answer? Yes, yes, very good, students. So that means it is not a regular polyhedron, because we can say we have a two types of shapes, triangle and rectangle also. So that we cannot say that this is a regular polyhedron. Regular polyhedron, those which have similar faces at each, where we have a square, 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 square on the each faces, right? Here we don't have equal faces at each vertices to be joined. So what do we call such figures, such shapes? Let's see. We call as a irregular polyhedrons. So irregular polyhedrons, let's talk about firstly what is that. Let me write it down. Irregular polyhedron. Okay, so what is irregular polyhedron? A polyhedron is said to be irregular if its faces are not made up of regular, right? As we can say that we have find it out two kinds of shape. That is, first is, let me mark again. So this is a rectangle, and the another one we see that is a triangle, right? So these are called irregular polyhedron because they are regular polygon. They are not considered it because the faces are made of different face polygons, so that's why we cannot consider as a regular polygon. So they are come under the category of a irregular polygon. So this is an example of a trigonal prism. Okay, so what do we call this type of prism? Triangular prism. So please remember this name of this type of polyhedron. This is a triangular polyhedron. So students, we have one more example in front of your screen. So is it the house a regular polyhedron or not? Yes students, what do you think? It is a regular polyhedron or another? Write it down your answer in the comment box. Yes, right. It is a irregular polyhedron. So students, why you consider this house as a irregular polyhedron? Why not regular polyhedron? Because because each faces of this figure shape does not have regular polygons, right? So let me show it. Firstly, find it out what are the shapes are there. Firstly, I can say that here I can find it out, a pentagon, right? So let me mark a pentagon. Where do I see it? Okay, now I can see the rectangle. Let me join all. Square, triangles, right? Cylinder also there. Circle, all the shapes are there which is required. Triangle. Okay, so these are called as a, I will circle out a circle. Okay, so these are comes under a irregular polyhedron, not a regular polyhedron. Okay, so this is irregular. Okay, now students, read the statement. I've given you few options. Choose from there and give the answer. A polyhedron is said to be regular if its faces are not made up of regular polygons. It is called as dash. It is regular polyhedron, irregular polyhedron, polygon, you're both A and B. Yes, what do we call such shapes, such polyhedrons? Yes, very good students, we call as a irregular because we had said its irregular faces are there which are not made up of regular polygons, so that's why we have a irregular polyhedron. So B option is the correct. So let's students recap what we have discussed. We have discussed about today polyhedron concept and types of their, what is regular and irregular. So polyhedron are those solids which is made up of polygon region which has faces, vertices and edges, right? So those are called polyhedron. And the regular polyhedron, these are the vertices. Here are we called as a polyhedrons. Right, a regular polygon which have regular faces, irregular which have irregular faces, not a regular polygons are made up of, right? So you have to choose which one is regular, for which one is irregular. For regular, write it down R. For irregular, write it down I. So I can say that this is regular and this is irregular. Okay, so students, these are the two homework. Which are the prisms among of these? You have to choose it out. Tabulate at least 3 differences for regular, irregular, polyhedron using appropriate example. Along with this is an activity. You have to count the number of vertices, edges and faces for each solid. So